I don't think this game is at all ready. Anytime you ever complain to Niantic support about it, or you tweet to Niantic support, all they do is say, we're sorry to hear this, trainer. You need a better internet connection. I'm playing all these other games that have zero issue. I've never had any lag, and all of a sudden I'm playing your game and your game has the issue. It's not the internet, it's your game.
Welcome back for another amazing episode of the Third Shield Pokemon GO PvP podcast. Guys, today I have a guest that you have been asking for over a year, and I'm so excited to have him here. Shrady himself is joining us to the podcast. Shrady, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
Thank you very much. I'm very appreciative that people were asking for me, and I'm very appreciative that you invited me on. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Of course. And I wanted to have you for a long time now, and I'm so happy that we're able to pull this one off. And guys, if you don't know who Shrady is, he's an amazing content creator. You'll find him on YouTube, and we're gonna link it in, so don't worry, you don't have to look it up, but he will pop up. If you type in Shrady Pogo all together or separate, doesn't even matter, it will populate because he has been creating amazing videos for a while, and I should say, probably just as spicy as Boy Gosh, and if you guys seen it, but with way more knowledge than I have, for example, in Pokemon GO. So I enjoy watching those videos.
Yeah, thank you. It's funny because when I first started out, it was basically like, it was season 1, and it was when the Ultra League was going on, and I was like level 30 or something like that, and I didn't have the candies or the Stardust to build legendaries. And it made me really angry because every time I would compete in Ultra League, I'd get obliterated by Giratina, Altered Form, and Cresselia, and all these Pokemon, and Registeel, and I would just like, scream. I'd be like, oh my god, I can't believe this is so annoying. And so the very first video I did on my channel was about Stoutland, because Stoutland is a counter to all of those legendary Pokemon, but it's very cheap to build. And so that's kind of like the birth of my channel, was countering the meta, and so it kind of grew from there, and it's never really stopped. I've always been a very anti-meta person, hence the if people have watched me before, they've probably heard me say Bombaril, because I like to make fun of Azumarill, because I'm not a big fan of big meta Pokemon like that. So, but yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that, and I believe I saw that video, and I think that's what caught my attention, because at that time, when you posted that, I'm pretty sure I have not been creating content, and I believe I was looking up players, probably like FP Sticks and Ryan Swag, and
Swag Tips,
and I think you popped up, like out of the blue.
Oh, that's cool.
You caught my attention because the Pokemon Stoutland, if I'm saying it correct. I'm horrible.
Yeah. No, I think it's right.
But nobody does that. Back then that was not a thing. Now Spice is cool, but back then Spice was like, what are you doing, bro? That's what it was.
Right. It's funny. It's funny because oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I will ask you after, don't worry.
Okay. So it is pretty funny because like, I remember Spice was the thing for a while. Like, when I first started the channel, the spicier the Pokemon, the spicier the team, the more views I would get, and it just kept going up and up and up. And then I would say starting about 6 months ago, I would use some crazy Pokemon, like some teams that were just absolutely insane, and I would gain like 300 ELO with some really insane team that should not have worked. It was super spicy. It got countered very easily. And those videos would do, I don't know if people are familiar with YouTube or how it works, but when you post a video, YouTube lets you know what your last video did, and it's ranking out of the last 10 videos. And so if you get a number 1 out of 10, then that video is doing really well. If you get a 10 out of 10, then that video is doing poorly. And so when I would post these spicy videos, they would be like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. And then I was like, okay, well, let me try something new. And so then I tried building a strong team, and I built a strong team, and I gained a bunch of ELO with it, and boom, 1 out of 10. Like, so I think the YouTube meta has shifted over the course of the time that we've been doing it, from Spice being popular to I just want a team that's going to give me the legend, I think that's what people are thinking, so.
It's funny you say that because I can add to it. It's 100% right, which you said. About 6 months ago sounds right too, and I believe about 6 months ago is when Niantic announced that we're gonna have Worlds. So I feel like the mindset of people shifted completely, and I don't care about the spice. I want to hit this,
right,
the right things.
right. Yeah, and I think that's important to like, that's something I always like remind people when I'm streaming or making videos or whatever, is that at the end of the day, this is just a game. And I personally have gone, I don't want to say insane, but I've gotten extremely angry before, because I am at 2800 ELO and I am like, I should have won this game, but the game lagged and I lost that game, and so I end up with a 2 and 3 set, and then that would happen over and over again. And so what I remind people is that it is just a game. Like, no matter how hard you want to win, no matter how hard you want that legend pose, no matter how hard you want to be in the championship, at the end of the day, it's a game, and if you're not enjoying it, then it's not worth playing. It was about 2018 when I first started playing Pokemon Go, and it was something that my girlfriend at the time, fiance now, could do together. That was, you know, we'd get our exercise in and we'd have fun because we both played Pokemon as a kid, and so it was a very fun, you know, activity for us to do. When it comes to Go Battle League, that was something I was really excited about when they first announced it, and so I started playing that in the preseason, but I didn't start making videos until I think it was season 2. I'm pretty sure it was season 2 when I first made my first video.
And so have you played any other Pokemon games, or you just straight up jumped into it as far as with Pokemon Go?
No, I've actually played quite a few Pokemon games. I have clocked so many hours into Pokemon Sword, it's actually kind of embarrassing, but I am so over leveled because I refuse to do the main storyline. I just keep grinding and grinding and grinding, finding new Pokemon, trying to fill the Pokedex. Like, I'm actually trying to, it's the first time I've played a main series game where I'm actually like trying to fill the Pokedex completely, which is so hard, especially in a game that has, it's an 8th generation, so there's so many Pokemon available. But yeah, no, I'm definitely into other Pokemon games, and I'm also currently streaming Arceus on my Pokemon Go channel as well.
Are you doing the PvP too in Sword and Shield or no?
I've tried it once, but it seems like you need to kind of have... It seems like you need some more knowledge in order to build a cohesive team. And so I haven't really got to that point yet. I'm still at the point in the game where I'm just grinding a bunch, and I haven't finished the storyline. I'm not even close to finishing the storyline. So what I want to do is finish the main story, and then I'm going to buy the DLC, and then I'm going to start playing with the DLC. And then I think while or after I buy the DLC, I'm going to try out the PvP, because it looks like it could be a lot of fun, because it kind of reminds me of Sylph in only a little bit though, because I don't know which style of battle it is, but you know, you pick 6 Pokemon and you get to see your opponent's 6 Pokemon, and then you pick 3 out of those 6 to battle with. Am I right about that?
Yep, and yep, you're 100% right.
So I think that's a really interesting concept. Obviously Sylph does it very well, so I definitely would be willing to get into it.
So let's say if you can go back in time when you started battling, and with your knowledge that you have, what would you tell yourself at around level 36, 38, wherever you were, to use in Go Battle League, or the team, as far as, like, let's say what team you should use, and then also how to even get better at battling? Maybe I should say that, because now you know so much more. It's been years.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely a lot different. I learned how to PvP from Google. I looked at Google and I looked at what the best Pokemon were, and Google told me Altaria, Registeel, Azumarill, and Swampert. And so
yep.
I built myself an Altaria because that was very cheap to build. But anyway, I'm going off topic. But if I could tell myself something on how to get better, number 1, count the fast moves. Just stop complaining about it. I'm talking to myself in the past. Stop complaining about it. Count the fast moves. Make sure you're counting them, and it will definitely bring you to a new level of gaming. Like, so counting the fast moves is one thing. Number 2, start catching Metatites and save lives. Although it wouldn't have mattered because the XL system wasn't actually out yet. But I would say probably to use Pokemon that that are unexpected but counter the meta very well, because I've had the most success with those types of teams. Like if I try to run just a strictly meta team, I'm usually not very good at it. But if I take a slightly meta team, say we take 2 meta Pokemon and then I add in like 1 wild card, those are the teams that tend to do the best for me, and those are the teams that tend to get me to legend, because people expect you, like say we're talking about the preseason, people expect to see an Altaria, a Registeel, and an Azumarill. That's just part of the meta. But they don't expect to see a Quagsire. You know what I mean? And so I think that was a very important thing to realize, was that throwing unexpected Pokemon out there is going to be very helpful, because people don't know what moves they have.
What's your favorite league? If you would have to pick a league that you enjoy playing the most, what would that be?
Definitely the Great League. Definitely the Great League. I have built a lot of Pokemon. I've spent a lot of XL candies on Great League Pokemon, on Ultra League Pokemon, not on any Master League Pokemon. Master League's my least favorite, but I think Great League is definitely my favorite, because there is such an opportunity for variety. Sorry, I'm just looking something up on my phone right now. I have 365 Pokemon built for the Great League. Just to
that's huge.
To put it in perspective, I have 136 built for the Ultra League, and then I have 49 built for the Master League. Actually, that's not even right. Some of these don't have second moves. But either way, I definitely prefer the Great League. It's the most fun for me, mainly because there's so much variety to it. And I think Ultra League is getting better now that I hate to say it because I'm not a fan of the XL system, but now that the XL system is here, the Ultra League is becoming more diverse. So that is nice. I will say that.
Yeah, it's funny because the people who actually don't play in Ultra League, or they played before seasons, the meta was very like Masters League. You have like a core of like 10 Pokemon and that's it.
Yep.
But just like you said, and I hate to say it too, with the XLs coming in, that top 10 is gone.
Right, exactly.
The top 10 Pokemon is XL now. They completely replaced it.
Right.
And yeah, so now when people go back to Ultra League, they don't expect the spice that they see. It's almost became the second Great League.
Right. It has.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Great League is definitely when you see the Wild West.
Yes, and that's what I love about it too, because people still surprise me, man. They still surprise me. Sometimes I'll see, you know, like I'll see a Skarmory lead, and then I'll see a Swampert, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I know what's going on here. And then I'll just see something totally out of the blue, like totally random, and I'll just be like, what the heck? And like, I think that's why those teams work so well, because if you, like, say you went back to Season 2, and you used Caleb Pang's Skarmory Double Grass team, but instead of using Shiftry with Leaf Blade and Foul Play, you put Leaf Blade and Hurricane. That's gonna throw people off. It's still the same team, but people are not gonna expect a Hurricane coming out of Shiftry, and I can tell you that from first-hand experience because I run Shiftry with Hurricane, and grass types do not expect it at all. It is so fun to run. I am a huge fan of Focus Blast. I'm actually just a big fan of moves that do a lot of damage, and especially like stuff like for example, Electrode using Hyper Beam. Now that's more expected, but for a while, people first of all didn't even know Electrode had Foul Play, let alone had Hyper Beam. So when the Kanto Cup first started, I started using Electrode. People found out about the foul play, so I changed Discharge to Hyper Beam. No one ever shielded that. No one ever shielded the Hyper Beam. They just
that's
never
actually sorry to
ready for
interrupt you,
it.
but that's actually a huge
That's okay.
trick because you throw a foul play, they're like, oh, this guy definitely has this. I mean, who the hell
Right.
wouldn't run the move that is actually
Right.
made for? You know what I mean?
Right, the Discharge, exactly.
That's actually a really cool tactic. That I'm gonna steal that from you. I'm gonna look for new Pokemon releases and I'm gonna try to make sense of it like that.
Yeah.
And-
No, I always thought that was the best way to do it because, you know, like you said, people are expecting you to, okay, if he's got a Hyper Beam, then he'll be running Discharge. So if you see the foul play, then it's a guarantee that he's got a Discharge. You know, what kind of madman would run Hyper Beam and foul play? But that's the stuff that I always tend to do. So
that's awesome. That's really awesome. It took it home for me right now. That's gonna be one that I put in my notes, in my PvP notes that I have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down because I think that's huge. And guys, you too, you should do that. To run with this one because this is a good one. Are you excited? You know, you said you won't participate in Worlds, but going forward, do you think you're gonna participate if it or when it becomes? Technically, it's already esports. Let's just be straight, guys, because there's Prize Cup and all that kind of stuff, organization starting. But once it becomes like a real esports, meaning like it's on televised, meaning on Twitch, they actually, you know, do all that fun stuff like League of Legends and all that. So the question is, once that happens, are you going to pursue it as the content creator side, the player side, maybe coaching side, or have you ever thought about it? What you're gonna do once it becomes esports?
I've never thought about the coaching aspect of it. I feel like I could get into that because I'm a lot better of a coach than I am an actual player. Like, I only found that out through shoutcasting battles. Like, because I would be, you know, playing the battles and in the heat of the moment, I would make a mistake, switch into the wrong Pokemon, or I would count improperly, or whatever might happen. But when I'm shoutcasting my battles or even somebody else's battles, I already know what to do. Like, just for example, using somebody else's battles, somebody's battles that I have not seen, I can predict what people are going to do based upon what is going to work. So I've never really thought about doing the coaching thing, but I think that might be worth looking into. But the biggest issue I have, I don't know. But the biggest issue I have with the esports aspect is, and like we said, we have not read these developer diaries yet, or the newest developer diary yet. So we'll see that. We'll see what they say. But again, I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt, regardless of what they say in these dev diaries. But I don't think this game is at all ready for this, because I mean, I played today and I've missed multiple fast moves. I've had my character freeze for a few seconds and my opponent get 3 or 4 fast moves in while my game is frozen. And anytime you ever complain to Niantic support about it, or you tweet to Niantic support, all they do is say, "We're sorry to hear this, trainer. You need a better internet connection." That's all they ever say. And it's like, I'm playing all these other games on a, like, I'm playing all these other games that have 0 issue. I've never had any lag, and all of a sudden I'm playing your game and your game has the issue. It's not the internet, it's your game. And so when this hits esports, and like you said, there's going to be these Twitch events where there's going to be thousands of people watching, and you know, the people who are going to be battling are going to understand, I just missed 1 fast move. They're going to see that. They're going to see I missed 1 fast move, and that could throw me the game. And to be honest, I'm not going to participate. Number one, because I pretty much took a break this season. Usually I hit Legend. For the past 3 seasons, I hit Legend. But this season, I decided I'm not going to do as many battles as I usually do. So I mean, I only played my first Johto Cup battles today. And that was more for my mental health, just because the game was starting to make me really angry because of all the lag and the bugs and the glitches and whatnot. So I don't plan on participating in it. I do plan on checking it out. I will watch it because honestly, I think it's going to be kind of funny to watch how bad it is. Like, I hate to say that. Like, I don't want to see the players being angry, because I know how that feels and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. But what I do want to see is Niantic getting a taste of their own medicine, you know, because they have this page that is a list of known bugs and glitches that they know about. And there's a few of them that have been on there for at least a year, if not over a year, and they still haven't fixed them. But they have the money. We know that they have the money to fix them. It's a like, what if they're like a couple $billion company. You know, they have the money to fix it, but instead of putting the money into fixing the PvP scene, they're putting money into adding new hats to Pikachu, you know? So I really think that I love this game, and I really think that it could work in a PvP competitive environment, but in its current state, it is not going to work. It is not going to work. We're going to have so many people contesting these battles to the point where they're just going to have to reset. That's like, you know, like that's what happens in a Sylph tournament, for example. If you know, the game starts lagging or it freezes or whatever, both opponents stop attacking, they exit out of the battle, and they restart, and they they do the exact same thing they did up until when the game froze. And so I don't know if Niantic has anything like that in place. I kind of doubt it, but there's going to be a lot of complaints from people who lost games due to lag or bugs or glitches or whatever. And so that is what I'm excited to see. I want to see Niantic actually take this seriously and see that, hey, there is money in PvP, because it seems like it's been a long time that they've been doing this PvP thing where they think that, you know, well, we're making more money on raids and events and this and that, so let's not worry about PvP right now. That's how it feels anyway.
I want to add to it super quick. I'm sorry to say this, but that's their own issue, that they don't see money in PvP because they're so close-minded, or they just didn't have the resources, or didn't want to have the resources, let's say it that way, to fix it and make it what it's supposed to be, because they realize that's going to be shit tons of work, you know, to get there.
And it is.
And maybe that's the reason, you know, but at the same time, there's more money in this than PvE. It just requires way more work.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because just one little idea, the big name players jump on it. That's one, the viewership, the sponsorship, and also the esports betting online. I would put money on King IV battling against anybody. Toe tactical. I would be there putting my money down. And so many other people would do the same.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then coming back to I wanted to add to that when you said, and guys, because some of you might think, oh yeah, if they lag, let's just restart the battle. Yeah. I mean, now that you just think about it like this, that's fine. However, think about this. Let's say me and Shrady are in the finals. We are battling. This is our first match, and I have no idea. Maybe I know his Pokemons already, just based on, you know, what I saw earlier. But maybe he only used 3 out of his 6, so I don't know his other 3. So now let's say he uses an entire different team because he knows my setup, right?
Right.
And then now all of a sudden, I see all his 3 Pokemon, and then we restart. So that's already his disadvantage. Now to take it to the next level, let's say we do this again and we have to restart again, but this time we almost finished the battle, so now I know all of his movesets, which I didn't know before.
Right.
So it's a huge disadvantage and a huge problem.
Yes.
In both directions, you know, so it's like the restart is not a fix. It's like a plan B, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's really the only solution. Well, and this is speaking about Sylph, and Sylph has been doing PvP way longer than Niantic has, you know, and Sylph still doesn't have an answer to that other than to restart and like just for example, say you know, somebody leads Meganium and the other person leads Azumarill, and the Meganium throws a Frenzy Plant and then throws 2 more Vine Whips, and the Azumarill throws an Ice Beam, and then it lags out. The rule is you go back in with the exact same team and you throw a Frenzy Plant and 2 Vine Whips, and the Azumarill throws an Ice Beam, and then you can just do whatever you want. But again, like you said, it's not a fix. It's really not. It's a oh whoops type of deal, you know? So the only way to really fix that situation is to spend the money and resources optimizing the game. That's it, you know, period.
Your community sounds absolutely amazing, just like mine.
Oh,
yeah. But in general, the Pokemon Go community, honestly, I don't care what anybody thinks or say, and all the toxicity on Twitter, and that's everywhere. That you can't stop that. That's everywhere.
Right.
And if people would all agree on the same thing, that wouldn't be people. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen. So let's just say that. But as far as the Pokemon Go community, it's probably the best community I ever been part of in my life. And then Shrady, I guess you can probably add to that, because what it sounds like, your community that you created in this genre is pretty amazing, because they have taken care of you, you're taking care of them. It goes both ways.
Oh, definitely. Like, being a content creator has always been a dream of mine, and it was always a far-fetched dream. no pun intended. But it was always like something I wanted to do, because for years I struggled with depression, and I was unmedicated, and I was having a lot of trouble. And the thing that kept me going was watching my favorite YouTubers. And so I eventually, I wanted to be that, but I never thought that I could. And I was fortunate enough to meet my fiance Jeeves, who pushed me, and she said, hey, you can do this. You can be a content creator. I know you can. You're funny. And I didn't think I was funny at all. And so she pushed me, and then I learned how to edit videos. I learned how to film. We got a little cheap webcam and all that kind of stuff, and things went the way they went, and I was really surprised by it. But when it comes to the Pokemon Go community, I am on the same page as you. It is absolutely amazing what people are like in this community. They're so giving, and they're so understanding, and a big part of my channel is mental health awareness. That's something that and they're definitely caring as well. But one of the things I like to talk about a lot is mental health, because it's something that affects more people than you realize, because most people don't talk about it because they're afraid to, because there's a stigma around having a mental health disorder. And so I talk about it a lot. I'm very open and honest about what's going on in my head and how I'm feeling. I'm open and honest that I go to a therapist, I go to a psychiatrist, I'm getting help, and I encourage everyone else out there who is struggling through whatever they're struggling with to go get themselves some help, and also to let them know that they're not alone, and I think that's when I started talking about mental health, is when I really started seeing such incredible positivity in my community. Like, that was just overwhelming me, because like these people were just so happy to hear me say that, because they had been struggling with this or that, and they thought they were alone.
Thank you so much, of course, for being here. I absolutely love talking to you. Is there anything else you want to wrap it up with? Any message to anyone or to the community, or anything before we wrap this up?
Thank you. Thank you guys. Honestly, that's the best I can say. That is the most honest I can be. Is a huge thank you to everyone who watches me, everyone who watches Daniel, everyone who watches any of the Pokemon Go content creators who listens to this podcast. You guys are the ones, you're the foundation, you are why we are here in the first place. And so that's all I got to say. It's just a huge, much gratitude towards everyone who has supported us over the years and kept us going. So that's all I got to say, for sure.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Shrady. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And guys, don't forget, if you're watching, you can listen. If you're listening, you can watch. So make sure to check out both. And thank you guys again for being here today.